with your bonds how much you are literally waiting to lose. We still see that 60-40 portfolio here in the Villages. It was never customized then. It's not customized now. So I'm going to tie in a little bit on what Lee spoke about with inflation and some of the asset classes that really lose to inflation, right? Besides just cash. So not only that, I'm going to pick on a little bit the 60-40 portfolio. And is it time to do away with the 60-40 portfolio? So let's quickly define that. A 60-40 portfolio is 60% equities or stocks, 40% fixed income or bonds. Now this is a very cookie cutter portfolio. It was never customized, and there are lazy advisors that still use it today. And let's talk about why it became so prevalent. So they really started doing the 60-40 back in the late 70s, early 80s, when inflation was running amok, just like Lee was talking about. So what do they do to counteract inflation? They raise the interest rates. And every time they change interest rates one way, bonds go the other way. So there was a period that they were actually lowering the interest rate, right? Because who remembers what the interest rates were back in the early 70s and 80s? Who had a mortgage, right? And 10%, right? 16% on some CDs. Money markets were paying 5-6%. So every time they made the change, the bond, they were lowering the interest rates down through all of those years. Bonds got a really nice bump. What are interest rates at today? Basically nothing. I closed on a house in April. My interest rate is 2.75%. You cannot really get any lower interest rate than you can right now. So with inflation, to control inflation, Janet Yellen has already said that they need to be raising interest rates. So as soon as they raise those interest rates, if you are stuck in a 60-40 portfolio, you have 40% of your money, or even more, that you are waiting to lose. That is a mathematical fact that as soon as interest rates go up, your bonds go down. Now, we can actually show you how much your bonds will actually react. It's actually almost never 1-for-1. It's almost never if they raise interest rates 1%, your bonds go down 1%. It's usually 4%, 5%, 6%. They call that the bond's duration. And if you make a complimentary consultation and you bring in your statements, we'll do an in-depth analysis and we'll show you with your bonds how much you are literally waiting to lose when they start raising those interest rates again. So we still see that 60-40 portfolio here in the Villages. It was never customized then. It's not customized now. These lazy advisors are using it because you know what they'll do? We have people come in and we ask, oh, what did your advisor ask you for your risk tolerance? And they gave me 3 options. They said conservative, moderate, or aggressive. Well, I would bet money your moderate is a lot different than your moderate, right? You know what that's like? That's like you driving down the turnpike and the speed limit sign just says fast. What does that mean? You're going to have people in the left lane going 80 miles an hour, people in the right lane going 40 miles an hour, and they both think they're right. So what we do, and I'm going to show it up on the screen, is we give you a little risk questionnaire where it gives you a quantifiable number on a scale of 1 to 100. So if you score 45, a 45 is a 45 is a 45, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. So I want to show you what that looks like, and I've got 2 volunteers today, Gene and Dan. So Dan, I am volunteering you first for our little risk questionnaire. Now this first question, how much do you have invested right now? This is not including your real estate.
2.2 million.
All right, and the only other item that I need is your birthday.
June 19th, 1960.
All right. Now, Dan, how much risk can you handle in 6 months? This is where the rubber hits the road. So we're going to focus on the red area there. I can go as high as 20% or 435,000. We can go as low as 4%, which is 88,000, and anything in between. What are you comfortable risking over a six?
I'm okay going 20%.
20%. All right. Now, of course, Dan is only risking money to make money. So you can see in that middle choice, he's risking 20% to make 20%. Let's improve that, Dan. On the right-hand side, it's the exact same risk, but your reward potential increases up to 29%. And on the left-hand side, we keep the same reward as the middle, but your risk does decrease to 13%. Which of those two do you prefer?
I'll take more or the same risk.
All right. Now there you are again in the middle. We can increase your reward even further, but as you can see, that substantially does increase your risk to $748,000 over 6 months. Which of these two do you prefer? Stay where you are, no problem. All right, on the left was your last choice. Now we can get you a little more reward there on the right from 29 to 34%, and you can see your risk does increase by 3%. Which of these two do you prefer? All right, now this is the last question. So before I submit the questionnaire for Dan, who wants to guess on a scale of 1 to 100 where he's going to be? I heard a 65, but he's an 84. So Dan is very aggressive. You think that scale of 1 to 100, he's in the left lane going 84 miles an hour. So Dan, what that means is you're comfortable risking about 20% to possibly make 29%. Does that feel like you? Perfect. All right, and just to give you, the other version of that, I'm going to have Gene take the same questionnaire because we are actually going to, when you come in to make that complimentary consultation, give one to each of you, right? Because sometimes you'll score differently, and then you'll look at each other and you realize this is why we've been fighting over money for 20 years. All right, Gene, so you're going to have the exact same starting question, which is not including your real estate. How much do you have invested?
3.1 million.
All right. And I know I shouldn't ask a lady her age, but I do need your birthday.
11/3/64.
All right, and then for your situation, we've got the exact same starting prompt. How much risk can you handle in 6 months? So,
My stomach's still upset thinking that Dan could lose $434,000. This is why we don't talk about earning because we used to fight all the time. I like it all the way to if it could even go further than that, but it won't.
the lowest I can go is that 4%, so we'll start for right there. But even though Jean doesn't like taking risk, of course she still wants to make something. So here, we're risking 4% to make 4%. You just need to decide which of the outside choices are better for you. On the right, we keep the same risk for more reward. On the left is the same reward as the middle, but you don't have to risk as much. Which of these two do you prefer?
If I'm going to risk 4, I'd rather make 7.
All right.
I'm not going to risk 4.
There you are again in the middle. I think I know the answer, but I have to ask. We can increase your reward, but your risk does increase, as you can see, to 7%. All right. Last question, and your last choice is there on the left-hand side. We can increase your reward just a bit from 7 to 9%. Okay. So, Jean, before I submit on Jean, who wants to guess what she's going to score on that scale of 1 to 100? 25, I heard. That's actually very close. It's thinking. 29, so very close. So Jean, of course, is on the other end. And there's no right or wrong. Everyone who comes in here has a different situation, different needs, different goals, different wants, and different risk tolerances. So we always build a custom portfolio for you and your risk tolerance.